Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Friday's study reflections on the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the literature to connect the jiva, the spirit soul, to source. But the way it works is you got to do it every day, and we're here live with a bunch of people here on Zoom. Only 75 today. I don't know what's going on.
It may pick up a little bit as we go.
It usually picks up. People get in the door late and they're rolling out of
Friday.
bed. It's Friday. But
People
they have
get
thousands
into the
of
4-day
people.
work week. You know about that? You know, 4-day work week?
What do you mean?
It's becoming a more popular thing, the 4-day work week.
Oh, really? Because people are like, no, I'm working too hard.
I don't know.
We're working too hard. Our country's not working.
There's some argument that it actually increases your productivity. You know.
No.
No, you don't believe that.
No. Go to China. They're working hard.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. Uh-oh, did you freeze up on us? Raghunath just froze. Look at him. All right, Raghunath froze up. Hopefully he'll be back in a minute. I don't know about announcements. I think Raghunath plans on going on a road trip any day now. He's going to go out to California, but we'll keep the show going.
Okay.
And now,
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
You know what happened? A crazy wind came through and it froze everything.
Every night is these incredible, like when I get up in the morning to chant, it's like beautiful storms, right? It's like pouring rain. Oh,
yeah.
You're not getting that?
In the middle of the night. Yeah, we are. We are.
All night. So
I sleep through it usually, so I miss it.
All right.
Pleasing. Yeah, it is pleasing. Storms are pleasing, especially at night.
Yeah.
But I'm driving across America. Did you get into that?
I just mentioned that
America?
that's your plan. Oh, you froze again. Oh my God. Hope today's not going to be lots of Raghunath freezing. So in any case, let us say this. I can announce at least that tomorrow will be our Sleep-In Saturday. We'll have Q&A. If you have a question, you can write it in today. You froze again, Raghunath.
I froze again. I was in the middle of an announcement.
Go ahead. Make it quick before you
make an announcement. I'm doing a Life Lessons from the Brahmayan class at Veda Yoga in Long.
Oh, man. You froze again. In Long something. Veda Yoga. I think it's in Long Island, but I'm not sure. Okay. So in any case, we have our Q&A tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, so you can sleep in. But if you have a question, you should write it in right away, because on Friday we start to pull those questions together and figure out which ones we're going to use. I think tomorrow, I'm sure today there are Bhakti Recovery meetings. You can go to bhaktirecovery.com, I believe, bhaktirecoverygroup.com to find out when all the meetings are. I think that tomorrow we also have the shloka memorization class in the morning too, which you can find out about on our website. And okay, we lost Raghu. Hopefully he'll come back in soon. We had a nugget today that I'm hoping Raghunath's going to be able to come and discuss with us. but I'll get it started, hoping that he'll be coming in any second. And this is a nugget. This is a biblical nugget. It's a nugget from Proverbs, which is like the Old Testament. It's from the song. This is spoken by Solomon. I don't know so much about Solomon. I know that he was the son of King David, who slew Goliath. And he's got a lot of interesting stuff to say in the Proverbs, a lot about wisdom and the value that wisdom plays in life. But I particularly like this, and I felt it also played into what we're reading in Bhagavatam. So this is from Proverbs, spoken by Solomon, Proverbs 4:23, wherein Solomon says, and I believe he's speaking to his sons. He says, above all else, and above all else, most important consideration here, set everything aside, and this becomes the most important thing. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. For everything that you do flows from it. And so, I like that a lot. I think in one sense that we can boil down the very meaning of our life, the very meaning of our journey through this world has to do with, you could say, the guarding of, or you could say the purifying of the heart. And when we say the heart, what do we mean? I mean, especially what we're speaking about is it has to do with our desires. What is it in my heart that I really want? And, one way to understand the path of yoga, or you could say one way to understand spirituality in general, is that it's a practice of purifying how we see the world and what motivates us. What is our desire? What is it that gets us moving? What is it that has us moving in any direction in the world? There's a desire in the heart. And so yoga or spirituality is a practice of purifying that. And the Bhagavatam is going to say it's basically, you can bring it through 3 levels of purification, right? First one you could call exploitation, where when I look at this world, I see it as an object of my personal enjoyment. And this is really the common default kind of setting, right? That most people move through the world with more or less this idea, or at least this idea somewhat prominent in setting their motivations, that I want to enjoy the things of this world. I want to enjoy the world. That's one level. And you could call that exploitation. I know that word kind of has a strong connotation to it, but it just means that I want to use the stuff of this world for my enjoyment. Raghunath, are you back? Let me know if you're back. I think he is. And let me see if I need to unmute Raghunath, if I can find him. Raghunath, where are you? I don't see you. All right. Here. Okay, there you go. There you go. What are you doing now? How did you get back on? I think they're frozen again. So I'm going to keep going. And when Raghunath can come in, he'll come in. So, exploitation, that I wonder what the dictionary definition of the word exploitation is. Let me pull that up. This is when I need Mara. Just a second. Here we go. Exploitation. The action of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from the work. That's the first definition. The second one, an action making use of and benefiting from some resources. And I think that's what we're talking about right here, right? There's the resources of this world. I want to make use of them. I want to benefit from them for the purpose of my individual, you could say selfish enjoyment, right? Particularly we're talking about the enjoyment of the senses. So one way to look at this world is that I exploit it. I look at the resources, I use them for the gratification of my senses. That can be purified. That motivation is called karma, right? Because it's called V-karma if you have no paradigm that ultimately there are gods or a god beyond all this that's greater than me. But if you just see it as, if you just discount all of that, it's called V-karma. If you take into account that everything's being provided for me and that I should do ritual to show gratitude for the resources that I'm exploiting, then we call that karma. And the idea there is that the nicer I do the ritual and the more pious I behave, the more good karma I accrue, the more that I can exploit the good stuff of this world. And the Vedas will teach that. But the Vedas are saying purify that, right? That's impure. That's not the essence of your soul. The essence of your soul is something way beyond that. Those desires in your heart are inconsistent with the nature of yourself. So purify it. And then the next level of purification, it goes, you could say, from exploitation to renunciation. These resources in this world are really not my property. As a matter of fact, they're kind of illusory because they come and they go. And when I become attached to them, ultimately the nature of this world is that I lose them at some point. And it causes me stress, it causes me anxiety, it causes me pain, it causes me suffering. And therefore, I'm not happy. So I can purify my desire from exploitation to renunciation. Let me let go of the things of this world. And in one sense, that's a move forward. That is a purification, and that is a more enlightened view. But when we get to the text like Srimad Bhagavatam, it's going to say there's something more than that. Beyond exploitation, even beyond renunciation, is, you could say, devotion, or you could say dedication, right? That I don't see this world as the place of my enjoyment. I also don't see it as entirely illusory and something that's like a trap and meant to be transcended. There's truth in that, but the highest truth is that this world is both real and unreal, and it's intrinsically connected to the divine. This is the energy of God. None of these resources are truly mine. Even my own body, even my own mind are made up of God's energy. And my very self, the soul that's beyond it, that spark of not material energy, but spiritual energy, even that spark, even I am the energy of God. I belong entirely to God, like a leaf belongs to the tree, right? And it's always in the interest of the leaf to be connected to that tree. So to recognize that connection and to respond with devotion, to respond with dedication, that's the level of purity of heart that Bhagavatam is taking us to. And Bhagavatam is kind of like saying, yeah, we've recommended different things that were meant to be steps towards purity, but don't get caught on those steps. Move all the way to like entire purity. Move all the way to what is the potential, the full potential of the self. Don't settle for anything less. And so the Bhakti-yogis thing, let me purify my heart. Let me examine every desire that's there, that's separate from the interests of harmony with the divine. I'll find them all dissatisfying ultimately. And I'll find what we call the Atma supersidity, what Bhagavatam defines as the Atma supersidity, or the complete satisfaction of the self, through only through a devotion, right? Only through pure love, right? So it's a progression. You could say it's a progression from karma to jnana to bhakti. You could say it's a progression from renunciation, or from exploitation to renunciation to dedication. More simply, you could say it's kind of a progression from selfishness to escapism, and ultimately to selfless love. That's where the Bhagavatam leads. And so let us all do that, right? This is how do we guard the heart? We're careful what we listen to, right? We're careful what we watch. We're careful with who we associate with. We're careful about what we allow through our senses, or we're careful how we process what comes through our senses, right? With the intelligence, when certain sights or sounds, etc., come in through the senses, our internal response to them becomes important, right? How we categorize that experience or that information. Do we do it through the eyes of enjoyment, through the eyes of renunciation, or do we do it ultimately through the eyes of devotion, right? This is all the energy of God. It's all meant to be used in the service of God. Right? Okay, so let's leave it there. I'm hoping, we may have Raghunath back. I'm hoping we're going to get him back for this show. It's been pretty rocky so far. But I'll get things started by chanting our shlokas and see if Raghunath joins in. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of our conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavata sevya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest of his ignorance, and my spiritual masters have opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto them. All right, let's check in. Raghunath, are you out there? I see Sierra is raising her hand. Sierra, did you have something to say, or is that... I'll ask to unmute you if maybe you're turning me on that Raghu is here or something. I still don't hear Raghunath. Is Raghunath here? Yes? Raghunath, can you speak up? Do you need me to unmute you? You tell me. Oh, there's Raghunath. I see him. Raghunath, speak to me. Can you hear me? I see you.
You see me?
Yes, I see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, did you? Oh, you jumped in the car. Okay.
I'm in the car. I jumped down the road. It's pouring rain out.
All right.
This is so unprofessional.
All right, well, we got you.
Good.
Are you settled into a place where you're going to be able to, like...
I think I can, yeah. I'm just using my iPhone, so it's going to be a little... Are
you parked or are you driving?
I'm parked, brother. I'm parked.
Okay, good. Good. Stay right where you are.
Stay and put.
So Raghunath, we read a nugget that was from the Bible, from Proverbs, from the Old Testament, from the Song of Solomon.
Okay.
And the proverb was, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Right? Anything you want to say to that? I spoke a while on it. He's thinking. He's going within.
I'm going deep. I'm going deep.
He's going.
You know, the biggest thing that comes up for me is that we have conditions. It's very common that we have conditioned, not just from this life, but from this life, that we have this narrative running that people are out to hurt us, and people are out to, fail us or desert us or betray us. And with those type of lenses, I'm actually going into the world looking for that to be fulfilled. And we forget that there's actually a true friend out there. That's Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, our higher power, our source. That it's a benevolent universe. But because I have been hurt, or I've framed it out that way, I'm seeing everything with partial vision. And therefore, I'm going into the world looking to be hurt, looking to be offended, looking to be let down. And it creates a horrible dynamic between myself and other people, myself and any relationship, myself and any friendship that I want to have. So when I hear guard your heart, I look at it as do not look to be offended in this world. Because if you look for it, you'll be offended. You can be offended by everything. And what happens is you slowly cut more and more people out of your life until you're actually alone. And it's a sad place to be. People are fallible, but generally they have good intentions. They may not live up to your expectations of them. And then we got to I think we should be a little bit lenient with people. And if they're really bad, if they really can't, if they're really letting you down, there's certain people we have to cut out. But at the same time, don't be so harsh on people. Oftentimes people are trying their best, and extend a little love and a little forgiveness. For me, that would be take care of your heart. Don't let your heart be so delicate that every little thing punctures it. What do you think about that?
Well, I suppose that's a different flip on it. In what sense, guard generally means it is delicate, like it is vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
But you're looking at it in a different way.
Yeah, I think it is a little different way. I think that's what I've been meditating on lately. So that's why it came out.
All right. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. But in any case, what Bhagavatam is kind of showing too is in giving, like in a lot of the stuff that we just read in at the end of the 5th canto, is that what's in our heart, the desires that sit there in the heart, they take us all over the universe. What we desire will take us up. What we desire will take us down. It'll send us all over the place.
Well, we've been reading the 15th chapter every day. And the month just ended, the first Shotzma month. And, it starts off explaining that the whole material world is like a banyan tree. And that if you've ever seen a banyan tree, they just extend so far up and then so far into the ground, and their branches shoot out long ways, like almost parallel to the earth. And then they drop branches into the earth. And it almost like it's just like the blob. It just starts to take over. And so our desires are like those banyan trees. And they go, and sometimes they're very refined desires. Like, I only like refined music or refined sports cars or refined properties. And there's people who live in that world of refinement. And then there's people who live in the world of real gross sense gratification. But whatever it is, it's just expansive and it never ends. And we're asked to sort of see it for what it is. And if we want to move forward on our spiritual path, we got to cut it.
Cut it. Did you hear about that banyan tree in Maui? Or not in Maui? Yeah,
Maui. It was like the last thing standing. Right?
A massive spread out banyan tree, right? Like huge.
Yeah, it was their oldest tree, I heard.
And it survived the fire.
Yeah. You know what's like a banyan tree, which we had great appreciation for in Newport? My favorite tree is the weeping European beech tree. European beech. They're like banyan trees. They're quite amazing.
Okay.
And they're all dying.
Oh,
they're all dying.
Sorry,
that's a bug. I just thought I'd share that with you.
Okay. Well, you're a botanist. Okay. Why don't we get into Bhagavatam? I've already chanted the our invocation.
Okay, great.
Mantras.
I can't really read anything today, so I'm just
I can read
comments.
I think so. We're hearing the Vishnu Dutas, the messengers of Lord Vishnu. They're responding to the arguments presented by the Yamadutas, the messengers of Yamaraj, who had shown up to drag the soul out of the body of Ajamil, drag him to the lower regions of the universe where he will be exposed to all kinds of hellish experiences due to the fact that they argued that he had failed to atone for all of his horrible behavior in life, right? And the Vishnu Dutas are responding that this man one time helplessly called out the name of Lord Narayan. And because of that, he did atone for everything. That the name of Lord Narayan is not different from Narayan. And this is so powerful and effective that he not only atoned for all the horrible things that you just mentioned that he did in this life, through chanting that name, he atoned for many, many lifetimes of bad karma. And they're kind of saying, well, don't you Yamadutas understand that? Are you so uneducated that you don't get that? And so they're kind of wrapping up their case right now. I think we read this verse yesterday, but I'll read it again today. And it kind of plays into some of what we're talking about here this morning. They said the ritualistic ceremonies of atonement recommended in the religious scriptures. So if you go back to the 4 Vedas and you read all about how you can do rituals to atone for your bad karma, he says they're insufficient to cleanse the heart. Absolutely. Because after atonement, one's mind runs towards material activities again. And consequently, for one who wants liberation from the fruit of reactions of material activities, one who wants to become free of their karma, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, or the glorification of the name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord, we call that kirtana, right, is recommended as the most perfect process of atonement. Why? Because such chanting eradicates the dirt from one's heart completely. Right? That it's not an ordinary sound, that this sound has potency, it has power, that this sound reaches into the heart and purifies it, reprograms it, transforms it, purifies the desires, the intentions, the motives that reside within the heart. All right. So then now we pick up.
Well, there's so much study right now on sound affecting us on a cellular level. We've been hearing about it since we were kids. You know, you play, you know, you have a plant growing and you play Megadeth or, you know, some Slayer next to one plant, and then you play Mozart and Chopin next to another plant, and they grow differently. There's been so many, or you make these tones on like a drum head, a skin, and they put sand on it, and certain tones like a gong will make like mandala effects, mandala designs in the sand, and then you play another like harsh sound, and it will make a harsh looking piece of art in the sand. So it's there. Sound is real, and it affects us on a cellular level, and therefore it affects our mind and our consciousness. And you know, again, that the Bhagavatam is pushing to the careful, even random sounds that we're not even aware of are affecting us. But when we start making sounds with proper intentions, coming in our mouth, coming out of our mouth, and coming in our ears, they're going to start to sort of recreate your life. That's sort of what we're doing if you think about it. We are harnessing the positive sounds, the transcendental sounds, and bringing them into our lives. You know, and then we are, and that therefore it's going to affect what's coming out of our mouth. You know, I was with Lori Pag and the chief. Me and Mara went over their house, and you know, I went in their house. They have a big screen TV. You could tell it's from their previous life, because now every time I walked in that house, we were actually staying at the house next door. They just had chanting going on, like whatever YouTube playlists. And I was thinking, wow, this is, and with visuals going on on YouTube, it's all transcendental. And I was like, to me, that house became like a temple.
Yeah.
Because the sounds that were going through in that household, anyone who comes into that house will have that vibration.
Yeah.
In the same way,
and that's the way of guarding your heart.
It's
right?
the way to guard your heart. It's the same way if you walk into an office or like, you know, the trading floor in Wall Street, there's, or you know, a kitchen, a restaurant kitchen, there's sounds and screaming sometimes and yelling, and, you know, or a basketball game, there's different sounds that create our consciousness, create our ego, create our intelligence. And so these transcendental sounds, they have effects, and no matter what I say, it's until we experience that on a regular basis. And that's why kirtan's so powerful. And people have such life-changing experiences at a kirtan.
Okay. So, speaking to that very point, the Yamadutas, I'm sorry, the Vishnu Dutas continue. They say, at the time of death, this is text 13. At the time of death, this Ajamil helplessly and very loudly chanted the holy name of Lord Narayan. That chanting alone has already freed him from the reactions of all of his sinful life, all of his bad karma. Just that, one time, did it. O servants of Yamaraj, therefore, O servants of Yamaraj, do not try to take him to your master for punishment in hellish conditions. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. Okay.
Mm.
You know, and actually, if we go back some, this is kind of what you see in the commentary to text 7 in this chapter 627. Prabhupada, he's reaching out to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who in his commentary on that verse, he quoted 3 verses. And he quoted these verses from the Smriti Shastra. In other words, these are from the oldest text, from like the Upanishad, from one text from the Brihad Vishnu Purana, one text from the Garuda Purana, and one text from the Skanda Purana. So these are like these ancient texts, right?
Mm.
And one of them is this. It says, Nam no hi yavati shakti, papa nirharane hare, tavat kartam suknoti, patakam pataki nara. So it says, simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he's able to commit. Right?
Mm.
Now, the second verse from the Garuda Purana says, if one chants the holy name of the Lord, even in a helpless condition, or without desiring to do so, all the reactions to the sinful life depart, just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear. And then the verse from the Skanda Purana says, by once chanting the holy name of the Lord, which consists of the 2 syllables Hari,
Hari,
one guarantees his path to liberation. Okay, so what's going on here is like these texts are there. The Yamadutas, they're concerned with like Manu Samhita and books like that, right? And they're that's where their information is coming from, like on that level, that to be adharmic is bad, to be dharmic is good. People that do good karma should get good results. People that do bad karma must experience the painful results. We're here to deliver those results. That's the level that we operate on.
Mm.
And Bhagavatam is saying that is just kind of like a lower level, quote unquote, religious kind of framework. There's truth to it, but there's something beyond that, right? Life isn't meant to just cultivate good reactions. Life is meant to develop pure divine love. That is your nature. That is your potential. That is what you're missing out on. That is what you're out of touch with. That is where all of this leads to. Don't forget that. Don't make the mistake to become confused by that. Bhagavatam is here to explain that. So where the Yamadutas were unaware of these verses, apparently, the Vishnu Dutas are coming and saying, like they just said in the text that we just read, they said that even you chant one time, it can eradicate all that. And this is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. All right. It's there in the Skanda Purana. It's there in the Garuda Purana. It's in these places. Bhagavatam basically is making this so that you just can't miss it. Right. You just can't miss what the point is anymore. That you could read all these texts and kind of miss it, but in Bhagavatam, they're not going to let you miss it. Therefore, to make this abundantly clear, they're giving this story of a Jamil. In all that the Vishnu Dutas share these truths, to kind of break any lack of faith that we have in the power of bhakti and the power of Krishna and the power of his name. All right, text 15. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune.
Oh, this is one falling off a ladder.
Yeah, well, such as falling from the top of the house. Whoa!
That happens.
A second one, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road. Yikes. Oh, you know what? We got to give a little shout out to our friend Doyle Garanga, who...
Oh, he broke his arm.
He broke an arm, yeah. I think he broke a wrist and his arm.
Oh, no. He was
rollerblading, yeah. He
crazy. Let's get frivolous. Let's go rollerblade.
Maybe it's just trying to get exercise, you know.
Trying to get exercise. It's
anyway,
Garanga.
Yeah, but I think he did 3 days in the hospital. You know, he's out now.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was rough. Okay, so another way of suffering.
Probably fell down and went, Krishna.
He probably did. Okay, so falling from the top of a house, you know, like cleaning the gutters.
Well, Alexandra Moga fell from the roof.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is she
But she
okay?
didn't
Recently?
break
Or?
anything. No. That was like years ago.
Okay, she didn't break anything.
She's a little accident prone.
Okay.
Fell through the bridge once. She fell through the trampoline once.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, such as falling from the top of a house. So I'll start over again. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, it happens. Slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, it happens. Being bitten by a serpent.
It happened.
Ouch. Yeah, that happens. Being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful, even though you accrued all this bad karma. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained. You see, Bhagavatam wants us to understand this isn't some sentimental bhakti thing. It's not like the Gyanis, they know all this stuff better, or the karmi priests, the ritualistic priests, they understand all this stuff better. Right. No. It's these sentimental bhakti people. They think, oh, you just chant and it solves everything. No. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained, right? Not even whimsically, carefully, thoroughly, they've studied these issues. And they've ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins, the worst bad karma, by undergoing a heavy process of atonement. And one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. Right? You're saying, oh man, this guy's heavy in his like bad karma. Doesn't matter. This takes care of it. Right? It's not some light thing.
Yeah.
Text 17, although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, here's what the Vedic things are going to tell us to do, right? The ancient Vedas: austerity, charity, vows. What kind of vow would people take, Raghunath?
A vow of silence, a vow of
dietary.
A lot of different Hindu fractions, or they do different things, like feed living entities on Tuesday, or water certain trees on Saturday, certain things to appease the demigods.
Yeah, or sometimes there are austerities, right? Like I will not eat salt. I will walk barefoot. Different things like that, right? We used to meet people in Vrindavan that had taken lifelong vows like that, right?
Yeah, peculiar little things for some reason or other, and maybe sometimes bhakti also.
Yeah. Okay, so although one may neutralize the reactions, and again, this is not our mentality. We're not interested in just the bhakti yogi, because they don't see this world as a place for their enjoyment, for their exploitation. They say, if I have sinful reactions come, let them come. Right? Let them come. Let them be the opportunities for my growth to bring my heart back to Krishna, right? Then bring it on. Right? They're not like
craft, newer, better, more fulfilling, materially fulfilling karma. We say that it gives us what we need. Yeah. We trust Krishna's got our best intention. Just like a mature child will understand, like, my parents understand what I need. They'll give me what I need. Whereas an immature child will think, why are we doing this? This isn't fair.
Why are you mean? Why are you being mean to me?
Why are we getting gas now? Like a kid will complain about the stupidest thing. Why are we getting gas? Because we need gas for the car, or else we were not going to make it home.
All right,
why stop at the store? Why can't we just go home? An immature child doesn't understand why they're getting displeased, or they have to take some detours. A parent knows that these detours are sort of necessary things. And so it's obvious in a world where if we got everything we wanted, where would the growth be anyway?
Yeah. Or maybe even more to the point, right? If a child was being, in a sense, disciplined by the parents, right? Why do I have to do this? Right?
Yeah.
Because you'll grow through it, because you'll grow through it. So the devotee, we're not interested in counteracting bad karma or accruing good karma, right? Neither of these things interest the bhakti yogi. That they've matured past that. Yeah.
There is a powerful statement when you see people who've gone through so much suffering, and they just transcended it. It's like it may even go away. They've had trauma, maybe it didn't go away or something. It's still with them. They can't like, the past is still haunts them in some ways, but they're just surrendered to Krishna. They accept, you know what, Krishna's got, and there's something very beautiful, and they see that all as, because of that, I'm very, very focused on my mission, on my service, on my offering. That's where people come from, the depths of. Sometimes there is hell on earth. We've seen it, but these people come out very strong and very realized, very sober, and very empowered. And if you've been through hell, there is hope, because there's people who've been through it, and it's not like they're going to seal it up and bury it. It's there, but it just doesn't have the control. Their past doesn't have the control of them as it used to, where it used to affect them on a regular basis and make them make bad decisions and things like that. They've used that to become new people, to shed that skin, to become, the butterfly.
And as we get older, I really see this realization amongst the mature devotees, and mature both in terms of realization and in terms of age, right? But you kind of realize that, hey, this is the way that it works for most people, right? That you get by the grace of another Vaishnava, another Bhakti yogi, you're given transcendental knowledge. You're given experiences, beautiful experiences in bhakti. Your heart becomes on some level attached to the sangha of the Vaishnavas, to hearing about Krishna, to kirtan, to the holy name, to some level. And you feel secure and happy on that path, but then life starts to do stuff to you, right? Especially as you get older, like you still kind of had this picture that life will still be a rosy thing, there'll still be the kind of this rosiness, and then you get older and you begin to see, like, to some degree, it's not that the Bhakti yogis don't enjoy beauty in life. They do. Right. But the fact is that these challenges, these sufferings in life, they come to everyone. Yeah. And the Bhakti yogi just kind of realized, now I'm going through this. It's certainly challenging, and it has a kind of pain woven into it. But I'm accepting that pain because I see that it is the process of my letting go. I'm being given this because my bhakti would remain mixed, because I'm not wise enough to let go of everything on my own, that my bhakti would remain mixed with karma, right? With the idea that I can still enjoy this world separately on some level from God, right? Yeah. And what God is doing is he's just squeezing out any of that attachment through this pain. And you know what? I accept the pain. I'm not trying to counteract it. I accept it. I accepted it. That's the nature of this world. Okay, bring it on. I only got 10, 15 years left anyway. Bring it on, right? And I'll go through it. May I become entirely pure.
Well, if you have a little kid, sometimes I bring my little kid to the doctor and he'll be like, my elbow hurts. And the doctor's going through a whole checklist. Your elbow hurts. Okay, have you been playing hard? Have you been doing a repetitive thing again and again? Did you bang it anywhere? They're going through a whole checklist. If I go in, my elbow hurts, they're like, yep, elbows hurt after a while. I'm like, what?
Yeah, right.
That's it? They just tell you the extent.
That's this world. That's how it works.
They've got no way to fix it. It's just like, you got to deal with elbows now. Knee, hip.
Yeah. Okay, so now with 3 verses, they're going to wrap the Vishnu Dutas are going to wrap up their arguments here. The one that we're working on right now is 17. Although one may neutralize the reactions of their sinful past, right, their sinful life, through austerity, through charity, right? These are just like you go to the doctor and they say, well, do some austerity, do some charity, right? Like counteract it. Through vows and other such methods, these pious activities And this is the point that we really need to get across here. This is the point where Bhagavatam or Vyasadeva in Bhagavatam is saying, if you're attached to those Vedic ideas, they're only going to take you so far. These pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. It's like chopping off the top of the weed and it just keeps growing back, right? You got to pull it out at the root. They cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead through bhakti, they are immediately freed of all such contaminations. As fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities. If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act without their knowledge because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy name of the Lord, like this Ajamil right here, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective. We rest our case. Ajamil, you can say whatever you want. You can talk about how he lived. What Lord Vishnu saw was he chanted his name in a helpless condition at the end, and that it countered everything. That's their argument, right? And they're more powerful, so it's like kind of like they're not only are they right, but they're kind of like now on
your way.
You're dismissed, right?
But you have work to do. You're fired.
Do you remember? Did they used to do that to you in school? The teachers used to do that all the time. You're dismissed.
You're dismissed.
Right?
Like
you're
dismissed.
Yeah, we're not hearing anything more from you. Okay, so that's their argument. Now, Sukadeva Goswami, go back to sage level 2. Sukadeva Goswami, the narrator, is narrating this to Maharaj Pariksit. Sukadeva Goswami says, "My dear king, having thus perfectly judged the principles of devotional service with reasoning and arguments, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu released the Brahman of Ajamil from the bondage of the Yamadutas and saved him from imminent death." He was right on the edge, Raghunath. Okay. My dear Maharaj Pariksit, O subduer of all enemies. That's interesting, right? Because when he says that, it means not only like the physical enemies, but like the enemies
mental
within.
Enemies and enemies within the heart.
Yeah. He says, my dear Maharaj Pariksit, O subduer of all enemies, after the servants of Yamaraj had been answered by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, they went to Yamaraj and explained to him everything that happened. Right? They're like, they weren't right on this, but they're loyal servants, right?
They're loyal servants. They're a little ugly. That's okay. That's
a little ugly. That's
part of their
service.
Description. Ugly God. Be ugly for your master. Yeah. They're a little ugly, a little threatening, right? They carry weapons, but they're doing their duty and they're loyal. And Yamaraj is going to school them now.
Sometimes I think that friends of my past who are devotees, they might take this role.
They were a little dangerous.
They're a little dangerous. They're a little, they're into it. They're fascinated by this kind of stuff. Having been released from the nooses of Yamaraj's servants, the Brahmana Ajamil, now free from fear. Whew, imagine how he felt. Thank you. He came to his senses. He immediately offers obeisances to the Vishnu Dutas by bowing his head at the lotus feet. He was extremely pleased by their presence, for he had seen them save his life from the hands of the servants of Yamaraj. Imagine the gratitude. Oh.
Yeah, the greatest spirit.
Yeah. Let me see one second. Where was I? O sinless Maharaj Pariksit, the order carriers of the Supreme Personality Godhead, the Vishnu Dutas, saw that Ajamil was attempting to say something. He's like, he's about, he's going to express his gratitude, and thus they suddenly disappeared from his presence. They didn't want to accept any thanks, right? Like, we're just doing our job. Poof, they disappeared. After hearing the discourses between the Yamadutas and the Vishnu Dutas, a Jamil could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes of material nature. Now he understands Dharma. These principles are mentioned in the three Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles which are above the modes of material nature and which concern the relationship between the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so he saw, okay, the Yamadutas, they were operating under the dharmic principles of like the Vedas. But then the Vishnudutas, they started speaking about Dharma from another level, right? More from the Bhagavat level, from the Bhagavatam level. It spoke to the nature of the relationship of the soul with God, right? He said, so he could also understand the transcendental dharmic principles which are above the modes of material nature and which concern the relationship between the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Ajamil heard the glorification of the name, fame, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus became a perfectly pure devotee, right?
Wow.
He could then remember his past sinful activities, which he greatly regretted having performed, right? Now he's seeing clearly. That whole thing did tremendous things for his faith, right? Like that whole experience.
To note what we have done and feel a type of remorse for it. Not like we hate ourselves or shaming ourselves, but it's good to feel remorse. What have I done? How could I have done that? Like they do in the 12-step program, they go through everybody, this moral inventory. I love that word, a moral inventory. Every person you've wronged, you scour your brain like, wow, that must have caused them pain.
Yeah.
That must have caused them pain. My poor family, I must have caused them pain. I wasn't even thinking about it and I caused them pain. You're going through that in your mind and in your heart, and you feel a type of sadness. And in that sadness,
yes,
there's a special, without trying it, there is a reward, a natural reward that comes with that, like a natural
purification
of the universe, right?
Yeah, there's a purification of the heart that acts like a powerful balm. It counteracts those desires.
Yeah.
When you analyze it, when you reflect on it, and then you feel that regret, all right? When you feel that remorse, then you purify yourself from wanting to do it again, from even desiring it, right? Yeah. Okay. And so that now we see here that he did that Ajamil, he didn't just, this whole thing, the presence of the devotees of Krishna, the devotional service which he just witnessed, the purity of the devotion of the Vishnudutas, it purified him. So it didn't just save him from having to go to hell, but it purified his own heart, right? Now he's like, okay, that's it. I'm changing. My heart has changed. My desires have changed. My life has changed. The whole direction of it changes from now. Tomorrow we'll tune in. We'll hear about that change of heart.
All right.
Mariji, are you with us?
Well, she's been struggling with her internet there.
Okay.
Let's see if
I'm here though.
you are
we
there.
got her.
Hi, Mara.
Hi. Sorry, my camera's not right, but
There she is.
all right. Take care of your heart.
Okay, these are the takeaways. Take care of your
Yeah, we got some takeaways. Don't be so harsh on people. They're trying their best.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mhm.
Gracious,
Chasing
great.
our
right? People are
Yeah.
kind. We appreciate that. Be a little gracious with people.
Okay.
chasing our desires will take us all over the universe.
All over the place. Up, down,
Whole wide world,
different bodies, different species.
foreign land. It almost sounds exciting. Like, yeah, follow your, chase your desires.
Sacred sound can purify your heart and recreate your life.
Mhm.
Or ruin it, people. Or ruin it. Oh,
Okay.
sacred. You said sacred sound?
Sacred sound, yeah.
Any sound. Sound in itself, but sacred sound, yes.
Let the challenges bring me closer to Krishna.
Bring them on.
Yeah, bring them on.
I'm
Bring them
trying
on.
to counter it.
Bring it on, but bring it me closer to
A little gently, please.
Easy, do it. Easy.
Our growth is in our discomfort.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that.
That's good.
Pious activity will only take you so far.
Yeah. Take it around and around.
There's purification in our remorse.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
I had to crowdsource some of my takeaways today from the message board.
yeah.
And Bhagavatam makes it so that you can't miss the point.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a big. Thanks for putting my car. Glad the
You're real choppy, brother.
a little choppy.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because of the music. Yeah, we can't hear you. Okay, we're checking out. All right, everyone, it's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic flow.